Hello, welcome to Random Bouts. The other day, the guys, Luna, Yasin, and I were talking about possibly doing what I was calling the clean and sweep. What that meant was we were going to just go into certain zones, spend maybe an hour of our time, and film what we could of, the NMs basically. Now, what I decided to do was one of my favorite zones, or the first one that came to mind, I should say, when I thought about this was Abyssea Konschtat. I believe is how you say it, and correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, I just for some reason this one stuck in my head. It's always been a zone that was to me less used, unless you really wanted Loki's body or something like that when it first came out. There wasn't a lot to do in this one. The Impies Empyrean weapon items that came from this were very lackluster to say the least. So what I'm going to do is show my characters, porting there, which is something they added shortly after adding Abyssea, where you could port straight to the zones if you had been in them already before, which obviously was awesome. The whole concept of Abyssea was controversial. The idea was, or at least what I can understand, is that maybe Final Fantasy or Square Enix, I should say, they thought 14 was coming out, the new online was coming out, and they wanted to give like a last hurrah to people who didn't get the best gear, because this game was definitely a grinder's game. You had to be one of the few elite players, or an elite link shells to get a pretty decent chunk of some of the best gear you could get. And as you're seeing on the screen, something that's kind of interesting, you gain time. You can only be in this zone for a certain amount of time, and it's 120 minutes, and you can do things to stay in longer, which most people know, and you can look that up. But they eventually made it so you can reinfuse the atmas you had. I am so generic. I've been using these for forever. I really don't care about these zones. I just have been using these three. So you can just apply all three. If you can bear with me for a second, I got to get the other characters all set up too. I always found this annoying when you multi-box this zone. Anyway, going back to the idea of Abyssea, they made it so they made these Empyrean weapons, which of course ticked off a bunch of the relic owners because they were arguably better in a lot of classes, and then they finally upgraded the relics, so it was kind of in between. All of them were kind of useful, and you could get something out of it. Maybe maybe the Mandau was a little bit better, or you could argue all those points, but all of them were pretty decent. The gear that came from this zone was pretty good. There was no real arguments there, but the idea was that almost anybody, as long as you put in the time, could upgrade your weapons to it, or your weapons and gear to a certain point, and you kind of had a stepping stones. You would get better and better as you went. So the idea is that, sorry it takes so long to get time, get atmas, get buffs. It takes so long in this zone, so that's why you're not seeing the main character move. Anyway, so there was a huge divide as far as the old school with the new school on what they liked best. Because the game kind of dramatically changed. All of a sudden, people that the elite felt maybe didn't deserve, some of the best gear, they could get it. They could spend time and they could just work hard. And Square Enix kept allowing new things to come in and make it easier and easier, and the level increase kept going up. So the NMs that maybe at first in these zones were hard, now all of a sudden weren't too bad. Things like that. So anyway, these zones were fun. There's 9 of them. They released 3 at a time at 3 different points, usually coinciding with level increases. This was one of the first 3, and it just was never quite as used. So what you're going to see me do here is I'm looking first for the NMs that just kind of pop normally. The zones were kind of cool. There was NMs that you popped by simply killing the monsters that were around the area. Oops, there he is right there. This one actually dropped the, I'm sure it won't drop on this screen, but this one actually dropped the ninja neck, which was really nice for a long time. Now the goal here is to increase the drops. You're supposed to do certain weapon skills, excuse me. So you can see it's dying so fast that with this gear, how would I ever possibly, figure out and get enough time to do the weapon skills? So I'm going to do one just out of curiosity and see if it'll give me a read on the thief that I have here. Great, it gave me no read. So I really can't have time. Basically, a physical weapon skill would increase your chances of dropping. And you can see I didn't get, I got this crappy helm and a sailcloth instead of, the ninja neck, which, to be honest with you, I don't need. I have it on, I think, all three, or, 2 out of the 3 maybe, of these characters. Anyway, so that was our first NM. That is also, if you were to do what they call the red proc, the blue one is the physical one, and that increases the items that would drop. It's like getting extra treasure hunter. That one would, oops, I left a character just one second. Oh, he's asleep. Let's go wake him up. Anyway, excuse me. So the red one would actually increase the chances of getting temporary key items. And that one, I believe, would allow you to pop Voracious Violet, maybe? I'm going off the top of my head here, so if anybody's upset if I don't know the exacts, it's because I'm doing this live. So, yeah, I believe it's Voracious Violet, which did drop some cool stuff. I think it dropped, was it one of the best hands for a while? And they were like haste 3 or haste 3 or 4 and a couple good stats on them. It also dropped, let's see, some movement speed feat for Ninja and Sam, which I think are still useful if I remember correctly. Or something like that. Anyway, so you can go around and kill, I think it's 4 or 5 NMs and get the key item, and then pop one of this Voracious Violet, which can charm you and do a bunch of other things. And it was, it's pretty cool. You had something you could do that way. Another way you could get those key items was to build up your gold light, which means you killed a bunch of mobs with your elemental weapon skills. I can show you this too. If you heal while you're in here, it gives you your light. So I've already got 100 pearl and 100 azure. I'm not even sure how that happens. I don't remember now, but I don't know why you start with like 100 silver. It doesn't make much sense, I guess. Maybe, boy, I'd have to look. I don't remember why it changed to that. It didn't used to do that, but looks like there's something they changed. Right now I'm looking for the NM Calamari, I think is what they call it, which is ironic since it's a squid. It's kind of funny. Let me see here. Up there he is. This NM I used to come in and out because it had like a Viking helm that it would drop. And me and this other guy used to duo it, and it was not easy when this first came out. You can see they move pretty fast too. Okay, I'm gonna evoke him. I don't really remember, if he can do any damage. And again, we're doing these videos. We are really not, timing these things in any way. We're just kind of doing them live, kind of having a good time. We don't really edit too hardcore. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Zarkabard one. That was actually supposed to be the first clean and sweep that we do. I'm calling these the clean and sweep because we're just going in and trying to see whatever we can kill and get out. Probably won't even talk as much as we are right now. Now that Mantle Pierce, if I remember right, was vicious when it first came out. As you can see, it missed me there, and the chances of it hitting... Oh, see, that was the helm right there. What's with the sailcloth? This helm right here was really good when it first came out. I mean, you can see the accuracy was low. That wasn't too much of a problem because everything worth doing was in this zone back then. And at that time, man, 24 attack and 12 strength was huge. Now, I think on this is my light, that would be for heavy melee. This is my light melee job, and you can see that it's got 22 strength, just, for no reason, so, and crit hit and all that. But, of course, these are almost 3 years apart. This expansion was already almost 3 years ago. Blows my mind. So I'm going to take a quick walk over to, I guess there's an NM over here too I should check on. I always forget about this one. Actually might be a little bit more of a challenge for me to take on if he's up, only because he charms. One thing you'll notice that there's only a few things that can get us these days. in some of these zones. There he is right there. And things that charm are not good for me. But we're going to evoke him anyway and see if I die. In Abyssea, they give you these Atmas. Well, one of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to keep the thief off of this NM just in case. And anyway, what I was trying to say is that oh Jesus, it's halfway dead. Let me weapon skill and just get him done. Ooh, he didn't take near as much damage as I was hoping for. Well, I guess almost a 5k one, but it felt like it should have killed him. Oh, I guess each hit's doing 8 critical hits are doing 700 to 800. That's probably why it's going down so fast. But oh, did his charm miss? Wow, his charm did miss. Okay, that one would have been another one where it was tough because you wanted to get the red proc, the elemental weapon skill proc, and it would give you another key item, either for the zone boss or Voracious Violet. I can't remember which, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're doing pretty good here. The ones that were already up. Out of curiosity, we're going to search the zone, see if anybody's actually in the zone. There is a few people here. There is one, the one that probably got hunted the most is one that was in the sky named Tyrol, I believe. Turul, maybe. I think there's supposed to be a slug in him over here. I guess that's a pop one by that question mark back there. Anyway, he would be up in the sky, and he's got a huge pop area, and he dropped a pretty cool body called Loki's body, and he would really devastate some people because they didn't actually know how to fight him that well. Okay, what I'm going to do here is, I don't know if the NM Fistule's up, and he pops very interesting. Basically, you have to pop another one of the mobs, drag it over there, and aggro him that way. So we are going to try to get real quickly a pop for the leech NM, run the leech over there, and try to pop him. It's going to be kind of cool if I can do this all in one take. I'll be surprised if that does happen, but you'll see kind of how the pop process works for these NMs too. I know most of you, if you're watching this video, you probably already know how it works, but you know, just in case. Actually, that is the pop, I believe, so let's go ahead and lot it. Let me pass on the other characters here. Yeah, I believe that is the proper item. Let me check, though. Again, I mean, we're doing this all on a whim here. So you go to these question marks and you trade the item to the question mark, and it will pop the NM. Now this NM, it dropped something that was mediocre. I think maybe an earring or something like that. I remember my league show when this zone first came out, we spent one of our whole events just trying to get whatever from him because it was worth it at the time, and we couldn't really take on any of the bigger stuff. So it was kind of funny, but that league show, and sadly, half the people quit at that point in time. But when Abyssea came out, there actually was quite a rise in subscriptions for a while. People were really into it, like I said, because all of a sudden they could get some good gear. It was kind of nice, and I know on my other character, oh, there is Fistule. So we're going to bring this NM right to Fistule, and he will only aggro after he swallows that one. So, where'd that NM go? Okay, here it comes. And then Fistule, I think if you just take him to a wall, he's super easy. Yep, now he's going to suck the Blood Guzzler in, and now he's on me. So I'm going to try to drag him a little bit towards the wall. He spawns a whole bunch of friends. The other thing about Fistule, I believe he also has a key item that you use for Voluptuous Violet. He's going to kick my butt. But anyway, excuse me, he was one of the Empyrean NMs. And what that means is his special item that he drops could be turned into to make a axe and maybe the club. You know, I'm sure somebody can correct me on that. I know for sure that it was the axe, which ended up being pretty useless. I can't remember the name of the weapon skill, maybe Cloud Splitter or something. Um, it was it was kind of sad because, you know, Beast finally got a weapon, because at that time relics were still hard, and Gutler and all that, and then it ended up being an elemental weapon skill, and maybe with 2 mods, or maybe it's not 2 mods, but I know it ended up being not very strong even in Abyssea, where you have all your stats jacked up. Like, look at my stats here. I mean, that's insanity for stats there, and we're gonna try to kill. Okay, we killed him. Um, you can see that a lot of these NMs in the first 3 zones did this skill with conservative, you know, with conserve MP and stuff, which isn't that different than what you see on some of the gear coming now with all the skill stuff on it. I kind of have a bunch of Fistule stuff. I don't even remember. Oh man, I don't even remember what these +2s go for. I guess I'll just lot it all and hopefully not lose it. Let me check my inventory real quick. Yeah, I've got kind of low inventory, but anyway, you would trade in those Fistule discharges. I believe it was 50 Fistules. Yeah, 50 Fistules, and you got to the first level of the Empyrean Axe. Then after that, you had to do another NM who was a pain. I believe its name was Bucus, and that thing was has a lot of instant death and things like that going on with it, so it was much harder to do. The NMs leading up to him had a lot of instant death and things like that, made it kind of frustrating. So now what I'm going to do is look real quickly, because there is a slug or a pudding NM. He's a different color than these ones. He's like orange. Oh, there's people over here, so it's probably not up. Let's check them and see if they're doing a trial or what they're doing. No, it looks like they're here for the NM. So, but we'll take a quick look. It's a licorice or something like that, and he drops a scholar ammo item that's not too bad. It's got I've got it on this character somewhere, but I'm not going to search through my inventory just to see there. Anyway, it became a big deal, especially when what they call it, Neo-Nazul came out, and everybody, you know, needed real high scholar skill, so they would all be fighting for this NM. It was kind of a funny resurgence of this zone for a while. Everybody fighting over this one. They had to reach a certain peak so they could have enough skill to make their spell last longer when you're climbing the floors. What I'm going to do now is pause the video. I will see you guys in a minute if I can hopefully find another NM. Thank you, and see you in a moment. Welcome back. I mentioned the NM Tyrol. I found him in the air, and we're going to give it a shot. I don't remember doing this with Monk before. I would imagine if I turn and whatnot, I will be okay, but he is a whore. So let's get him. Let's try to bring him so I'm up against a wall or something. Something that was really kind of cool was, actually, I'm being stupid. I did do this on Monk before. You would come on Monk during nighttime, and he would have all the procs, so he could get the drop easier if you got the blue. Like I mentioned, it's a like a TH effect on it. So we're going to try not to die. We might die anyway. We'll find out. I honestly haven't done this in so long. So wish me luck here. If I remember right, he's kind of a bear. Okay, let's try to get some TH on him too as well. You know, you get all these temporary items, but when you're multi-boxing, he makes you feel like, and now I'm going to turn here. Don't die. Anyway, you get all these temporary items and stuff, and it just makes it, when you multi-box, it's kind of really hard to, I need to turn the thief around. It's really hard to, ooh, Thundaga. Let's get him out of there. It's really hard to like pull out your items, and I probably should have macros, but honestly I've not done this in so long. There's things like fanatics and fools, so it nullifies all magic damage, so let's try that for a minute here. I mean, you can boost like stats and all sorts of stuff, I just haven't been. Let's kind of punch him down a little bit. For you know, the general rule with Tyrol is if you see him cast, I think it's magic on himself, he does like thunder magic on himself, things start getting really bad and his spikes start getting really high. So it used to be I would just kind of turn until that wore off. The funny thing is you're not really seeing too many reads from me. Of course, ooh, see like that, you would turn, oh, and I died. Let's see if I can survive with the thief. Let's turn a little bit as soon as I can. And what you probably can't see a lot of is that I am getting stunned over and over again. Again, this is, you know, it's just more of a nuisance. Some of these things just weren't great multi-box jobs, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to chakra on my character here. I'm going to try to turn so you can see what's going on and hopefully stay a little bit out of range here. I'm going to go ahead and try to take it down a little bit with the thief. It's sad, man, that you guys can't see this. Oh, and it's club weapon skill of all things. Not that I need it. I've got Loki's, I think, on all, or at least most of these characters. Oh, come on, cure me. It's on the mage now, that's funny. Man, I can't get terrible camera angles and whatnot here. You can see that it's not going too well for me here. I might actually die. Oh well. Let's try to get some hate. Now the thief is, for whatever reason I've been super lazy, so I didn't change jobs or whatever to sub war like you should when you're in this zone. So he's gonna have a real hard time pulling any kind of hate off of this guy. Let's go ahead and try to, I'm probably gonna die real quick on the monk again, but whatever. Let's try to get a skill chain off here. Okay, we got him down to 2. We'll get him this time. See what he drops. Alright, come on. Always trips me out when I get to 1% and then all of a sudden you can't kill things. Okay, so it only dropped +2 items. If you don't know what I mean by +2, it's that when we came into this zone, they made it so you could get +1. You could get a base item from just an NPC and use points. Then you could get seals to make them a +1, and then you could get, you know, whatever, 6 of these items to make a +2. So you know, it's kind of cool and whatnot. I'm gonna trade some stuff to this character and see what else. I just need to trade. I'm gonna get rid of some of this junk that's on me, just so I can make room for the +2s. Sorry for your delay. What I'm going to do is, since I'm kind of close to where some of the other NMs spawn, I'm going to run over there real quick and see if they're on while the video's going. I probably will only do a couple more NMs because we kind of did all the NMs that are really worth it. I don't have the pops for Voracious Violet and whatnot. That's kind of a pain in the butt to get all 5 NMs, and it just takes a while. Of course, we used to use that to farm our +2s, so it ended up, you know, nobody really had one sitting around. It was hard, and you know, everybody wanted it. Obviously you saw the Loki's body didn't drop. Like I said, it's not needed these days. I think I probably have it in my inventory somewhere. Let's see if we got it. You can see some things are nostalgic. Shire Manteel means a lot to me. I was one of the first people on the old server. I think I was the second person on Gilgamesh server to get it. So it just means a real lot to me. Austria, however you say his name, the Japanese player made it for me. Yin Yang was just more of a triumphant because I had never gotten a chance to get it, and its pop conditions were a pain, and so I've got it even though my summoner's not maxed. On my other character, summoner's maxed, but I don't have Yin Yang because it's kind of useless, to be honest. There's probably 3 other bodies that are better. There is an NM over here that drops the Beast Axe named Buca? Yeah, there he is. Baca. Um, this NM was kind of nice because he dropped, I believe, with Black Mage neck. Of course, this is all from memory from 3 years ago. And, but what he did is he dropped an awesome axe that you could put in your offhand on Beast, and it would actually add regen to your, or I'm sorry, regain to your pet, so you could do TP moves quicker. So it was really good for idle, especially if you weren't, especially if you were standing around or not a meleeing side by side with it. It was really, really good. Uh-oh. Let's hope I don't die here. I do some chakra. The thief got slept at some point, but let's go ahead and put some TH on now. I remember a funny story where somebody came in and stole the item from this. We'd been farming it, and somebody came in and stole the item. At the last second, they lotted and stole it from the Link Shell member. That was always good times. And I can't tell you how many event days we came in here just looking for that Tyrol that you saw me fight, the little dragon-looking thing. Let's see what that dropped. Okay, so you can see that's the regain axe, which the damage-wise it's terrible, but for idle, it can be useful. You know, especially if you're like a BC beast or something like that, and you need to be sit idle for a minute and get TP. That's a very nice way to do it. You can see I've got it on. I think I got it on everybody except for Eva, who doesn't have Beast. Let's see. Yeah, I've got it on everybody except for Eva is what's going on. There is one more in him this way. Honestly, I don't even remember their names. These were also important because, excuse me, killing these could get you a key item that allowed you to get your stones quicker. When this game came out, you only got, I think it was a stone every 24 real life hours. So at first it was really hard for people to just swarm in and spam the zone, because each stone was only good for, I think, 30 minutes originally, and you only got one a day. So you really didn't want to go in with a group who couldn't get you more time or couldn't kill the thing that you needed to kill. So what ended up happening was you could kill that NM, and there was eventually two other ones, I think one per expansion, and you could get it, I think, 4 hours earlier. You could get your stone, and then there eventually was key items that made each stone count for more. Oh, this is interesting. I'm glad they're fighting this, because this is one I did not want to fight myself, so I'm glad that they're showing it. This is an NM that you pop, and that's for popping the zone boss. KKK is what we call it, or something like that. It has a really funny name, and it does a lot of Petra and stuff like that. But this one was a pain because most people don't bring black magic to anything, or summoners, and the only people that can damage it is summoners and black magic. So it was really kind of frustrating. You can see they're doing pretty well. You know, kind of no fear for them. I'm glad that they had it up, because I definitely wasn't going to mess with him. That's a pretty nice little video. We've seen a lot of the NMs. Now, each one of these zones has tons of NMs. You couldn't possibly show all of them without taking much longer and editing, probably better than my capabilities. There is a monster over here. He drops something for war. I can't remember exactly what it is, but we'll go over here and try to kill him anyway, just in case. But yeah, anyway, most of the ones that really matter, or you know, we can do in a quick way on a video like this, is are already taken down or we've seen. Anyway, what I was saying is that there's a ton of NM, so I couldn't possibly do it without, you know, tons of editing and whatnot. But yeah. Oh, is it not up? It's like a, if I remember correctly, it's like a bigger white version. Oh, there he is. I guess he's kind of purple and white. This one dropped something, and he can be a little bit of a bear too, if I recall. Let me set my mage a little ways away. You know, I just realized I didn't have Solus up on my white mage, which means, to anybody who hasn't really played a lot, that basically I wasn't getting stone skin from each cure like I should have been. That would make that would explain why I was dying so quick. We'll just try to get some faint and whatnot up and then call this a day. This one, every once in a while, this guy will sneak up. Oh, you can see that to get the blue proc on this guy, you would need to do pole arm, is what it said this time. So, Chaos Breath, don't kill me. Okay, let's see what we got from this guy. We got the skull. I really can't remember what that's for. It might have been one of the Trial of Margin weapons that nobody did. There was a lot of when they first came out, they didn't tell us that, okay, well, this one is going to be eventually the Empyrean weapon. There was just these trials, and we could see kind of the path that they needed to go. Well, some of them were amazing, or they looked amazing on paper. They were like occasionally attacks twice, occasionally attacks 3 times with lower damage, or then there was a high damage one. Well, the high damage one ended up being the Empyreans. There was other ones that had stats, like there was Elemental Paths, and I think like Earth Path was Vit, Fire Path was Strength, and so you'd get a high damage weapon with, like 15 Strength on it, or I'm just totally guessing. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, like one that you saw people doing a lot was the Earth Path for Beast, because it gave your pets negative PDT, which I should have those somewhere. Let me see if I can find those in any kind of quick fashion here. Might be in... I guess not. They might be in... I can't remember exactly where they are, to be honest. And my inventory's all scattered. But, yeah, anyway, you could get 2 of those, and it would give your pet, I think, negative 20-some PDT, which is kind of a big deal. And in Abyssea, there was... which is the zones we're in here. In Abyssea, there was a way to get up to where your pets were almost taking no damage through Atmas and whatnot. And you can see with the new gear, just before I log off here, you can see that you can just devastate mobs. We'll do 1 weapon skill. Oh, well, just my regular round of attacking was killing it. Look, it was almost at half, like in 1 round. Look at that. It went down to 6% in 1 round. Oh, that's just terrible. Just terrible. And you can see the EXP for people who were old school for that split second of hitting stuff. They couldn't even do any damage to me, and it was 135 EXP. However, EXP rings and stuff do not work here, so... And Corsair's roll, I believe, does not work here, so that's kind of, a bummer there. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. It's a little longer. I meant to do... a lot of quick edits and just talk a little bit, but since everything was up, it made it really easy. Thank you. Bye-bye.